everyone. Welcome to the Anchor of the Week. My name is Courtney.
And I'm Zach. We are an initiative of Hope and Anchor Community Church in London.
Each week we'll discuss different topics relevant to faith and Christianity in today's culture.
We are here to build a space for the church to share our experiences and challenge one another to grow in living a life like Jesus.
Well, hello everybody and welcome back.
Welcome team, Timo.
Yes, if you are watching us on YouTube, you can see that we have a very special guest with us today.
Yeah, Martha,
Yeah.
I've just said your name, but...
We're going to have a whole big reveal, all of this.
Yeah, ruin that. But yeah, do you want to introduce yourself to the team?
Yes, well, as you just said, my name is Martha. Maybe you know me if you watch our church services.
Yes.
But yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, she's being very mild here.
Yeah.
Martha is a worship leader.
Thank
There we
you.
go. Yeah,
at
that's
Hope and
amazing.
Anchor Community Church.
I wanted you guys to give me the intro.
Yeah.
It's awkward if I talk myself up.
We
yeah.
did. We kind of threw you under the bus
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah. But so if you've been kind of around the Hope and Anchor community for a little bit, you'll definitely have seen her face on the worship team. She also preached a few weeks ago, and it was amazing. Also, she is one of the Anchor of the Week's top fans since its beginnings.
This is a fact.
This has been a long time coming, actually.
Yes, ever since.
It's been on for a while.
Yeah, Martha.
Before his time. Yeah.
Before Zach's
before
time.
my time.
Yeah, she's been asking, hey, when's it my turn on the pod? And we finally have her on.
Thank you.
And we are very excited
Yes.
because today is also the final episode in our series of Rejection.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. So we're really going to lay it all out there. And you might be asking, why are we bringing Martha on for Rejection? You know, that sounds, maybe a little cruel. Yeah, I'm the guest for Rejection.
Yeah, that's actually... Oh, never even...
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, but I'm excited. We're going to cover a lot of topics today. Some pretty frisky, to be honest.
Yeah, we are going to dive deep today. So we have briefed Martha on this, so it's not like it's a huge surprise.
And she has promised to be an open book. So y'all, this is the expose. This is the tell-all. the final week of Rejection, guys. We're not leaving any stones unturned. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Should we get right into it?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, Martha, do you want to actually just give us a bit of, because obviously there's a reason why you're on. There's a reason why we've asked you. Do you want to just share maybe like a bit of background or just a bit of, just a little, little mini
No more
story.
questions. I just get straight into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I don't really know where to kick it off. I don't know. Do you want to give me some more prompts and then we can...
Well, basically, if you've read the title of this episode and the description of it, we're kind of talking about, shall we say, daddy issues?
Yeah, we can say that.
And we're doing this in a real low-key way, y'all. Like, everyone has them, okay? We all have issues passed down from our parents. And it's become kind of this thing, But we're like, it's not a taboo. We can talk about it. So if you want to just kind of talk about your family background, maybe, even just briefly, and then we'll kind of get into it.
Yeah. And as well, with everything that I share today, I want to be, as honoring as I can towards my father. Because, we've had reconciliation now, so we're chilling. So we can talk from that viewpoint. But basically, when I was younger, when I was a wee little lass, my dad, he has struggled with, alcohol and substance abuse. And he cheated on my mom. And left the family home when I was, I think, like around 8 years old. That obviously played into a big part of my childhood and upbringing. Having him as more of an absent figure in my life. That's kind of a bit of my story, I guess. So I don't know how into it you guys want to get, but
Well, I mean, so was it just a case of upping and leaving and no contact, or was there kind of contact with you kids, and like how was that? What was that like?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess my mom, she did the best job she could of like covering him and not like I don't know, because you hear often stories of separation where like both parents it's really toxic and like they bash the other one in front of the kids. But my mom was really good at like not doing that. So she kind of like in that sense and also spared us from not needing to know things that we didn't need to know. So he did cheat on my mom, and that was something that we were all aware of. He moved out, and yeah, my dad, he grew up like in a Christian home, but he kind of chose to not walk that road. But my mom, thankfully, yeah, she loves the Lord. So yeah,
Also, shout out to Deb.
yeah, shout out to Deb. She's a
It's her
legend.
birthday today.
It is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
2 birthday episodes in a row. Happy birthday, Deb.
Okay. Shout out
Deb.
to you, mom. But yeah, and so I guess in that season of my life, like she really chose to, just press into God, and he was like the foundation of our home, and yeah, like she made us do weird stuff, like write things on posters and then put them all around the house, like God is the Lord of this home,
Oh,
and,
right.
and weird stuff like that. But it was cool. I respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing these, because obviously it's not easy. I mean, maybe obviously I know you've processed things, but it's open. So, yeah, thank you for that. But obviously now this is something between your dad and your mum, like that happened, and so, and I know obviously it's his family as well, but it's very much kind of, you know, between them two, and even then, like I don't know, like did you feel like you personally were rejected, like, or like you kids were the ones he left and said no to, or was it more like between your parents?
Yeah.
You know, because yeah, it's between them two mainly. I mean, I know it's a family thing as well,
Yeah, yeah.
but how did you take that?
I mean, as I said, I was like really young, so I didn't have that like maturity to separate the two things. So like to me, it was he left us, you know, and he abandoned us, and as well I didn't mention, but like the woman that he left my mom for, she was quite a lot younger. She was in her early 20s, and my dad at the time was in his 40s. So it felt almost as if like I had been replaced in like a weird way. Like because she was so young, it was like she could be my sister kind of thing,
Right.
you know? So it was like that weird, yeah, like I felt almost as if like he'd replaced me. And that was hard, gonna be honest, to deal with as a kid. Like
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting, and this take is really interesting because the past few weeks we've been doing our like rejection on the streets interviews. It's been very much like certain situations where you put yourself out there, you know, again, it was like with school or like friendship groups and stuff like that. But there's a certain amount of responsibility. I put myself out there, and I know that I could be rejected, but I'm still going to do it anyway. But in situations like this, which we all experience to different levels, you know, even if you come from a good home, you know, there's still things that happen, you know, or not a good home, but like a solid home. I don't even know what to call
nothing
it.
normal. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Air
Yeah.
quotes.
What even is that anyway?
Yeah.
I feel like there's not really such thing as that. But like it's different because you didn't put yourself out there and be like, well, I might get rejected, but we'll see it. Like, you know, there should be that safety in that sense, I think, when especially you are a child, right? Of like, I shouldn't have to worry about being rejected. So I think it's just a very interesting and a lot deeper than what we've been talking about the past few weeks, which I think is really good and really key. Yeah, and the fact that like, again, like you didn't actually have you took it personally, but you didn't really have any hand in it, you know, like it wasn't you, you know. But it's interesting then how something that you don't even like know or like you didn't have a quote unquote part in has carried into your life, you know. And like maybe we can talk about that as well, like how, like as he said, like you've already worked through a lot of it, which is amazing, which is why you can actually like be here and talk about it, you know. But I think a lot of us have these things that we can realize, oh, it came from this, you know, maybe when I was a kid or in a broken family or certain situations, but now we're dealing with it because we see like the effects of it. Does that make sense? So how did you kind of see that then, and when you realized, oh my gosh, I think it's because like I got this from the situation with my dad, you know.
Yeah.
And then you had to start to kind of work through things, but what were the manifestations of it, you know?
Yeah, I think it definitely, as I was growing into my like teenage years, like it became more of a like, I don't know, an obvious like thing. It's like, okay, like I'm having all these struggles, and like it was clear that that was the root of it. And my mom as well, like was really really good at trying to, you know, get me to seek help, and you know, so I guess it kind of manifested in like, you know, issues with like boys, you know, self-esteem things, I don't know, like stuff like that, like that. Yeah, of course, if you have had that experience with your father, like, you know, you're gonna look at relationships with other people like with that skewed perspective, and trying to like seek affirmation and love in excuse me
Okay. Excuse me, Yeah, we need water for our
Yeah.
guest.
Bit of COVID. No.
She is
Just
joking.
kidding.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
is
Let's
joking.
just
It's a joke.
quickly clarify.
No,
It's a
but
joke.
yeah, you're gonna seek like love in other people in other
Mm.
other ways, and yeah, I don't know. Did I
Yeah,
explain
no,
your
I think that's-
question?
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
What was your kind of like initial reaction? Yeah, reaction into it. Because like you said that he left for someone a lot younger, like, and you almost felt replaced. You know, what kind of like reaction did that come from you? Did you feel like you needed to be better at being a daughter almost? Like, did that play at all, or what was that?
I
Like, what was
mean-
going through your mind in that sense?
I guess I was just really hurt, and I've always been someone who's a little bit more feisty. So like my like ways of coping, I guess I would I would do some things a little bit naughty. So like whenever I would stay at his house, I would go through and hide her things and stuff like that. So I guess that was my rebellion
Yeah.
coming out to try and I don't know, feel like I had some sort of control over the
Yeah.
situation.
It's interesting how like it was at her as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not like your dad. Not that I mean they were both at fault obviously and things, but it's just interesting that like
Yeah.
the reactions were aimed at her rather than like at your dad.
I guess I don't know. That's the mind of a child.
Well, yeah.
not
That's true.
understanding the
Yeah.
situation, but yeah.
And like as you said, yeah, you kind of like started to like work out some things, kind of like in your personal. But how did that affect your relationship with God as well? Because that's something that like you've touched on before in different conversations. But the whole father figure thing is something that I think again all of our fathers are not perfect, so it skews the way that we look at God, who is the
Mhm.
perfect father.
Mm.
But yeah, just wondering if you have anything to say on that, or for the people that are like, I don't know how I can see God as a father because my father did X, Y, and Z, or I've never known my father, or different things like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been a long like journey to walk out, and I wouldn't say that I'm fully there even. But like I guess it comes with just learning more like who God is and like getting to know him more. And then that the more you know God, the more you realize like that he is love, that he is, he's everything good. And I guess that shifts then your preconceived ideas of what a father looks like because maybe it hasn't been modeled well to you. And yeah, just knowing that like God is the only like good and perfect father. And but yeah, like you said, like with all these things that happened with my dad, that did like stop me from like understanding what a father actually should be like and what like a good father actually looks like. And yeah, it's been a long process to get here. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was until I was like 18 that I really had a moment of like giving that back to God and like and fully surrendering like all of my issues.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it comes with time, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want to like explain what it was like in terms of like surrendering? And I mean, is that where the healing really started in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, I was in a teaching about the Father Heart of God, which was a really key breaking point for me. And it wasn't even what the teaching like was, because I don't even remember what they talked about. Like, and it was translated from Spanish, and it wasn't even good. But it was just like, sorry, no offense.
Oh wow.
No, but it
I
was.
hope the teacher is not watching right now.
Oh, I hope not. No, but it was that was just something so deep and profound, and like the spirit of the whole like thing was just, I don't know, it's just something broke in me that day. And yeah, I was just like bawling my eyes out, and I just felt like a weight literally like lifted off of me in that moment. And then yeah, I had to like obviously process things after that. But that was a really like key like breaking point for me.
And did you have a conversation with him like after this point? Like was it like, have you dealt with it with him
my dad?
and stuff? Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Yeah, so I have like had a few conversations with him like about like, telling him that I forgive him. And it actually wasn't until recently that he phoned me one day to apologize for everything. And I was like, it's cool, Dad. Like, I've already forgiven you. But that was really big for him to actually acknowledge.
Yeah. And initiate.
Yeah, and like yeah, for him, I know that was huge. And he's going through a journey as well. He's he's definitely reassessing things in his life, and so yeah, that's amazing to see. But, yeah.
And out of curiosity too, like, because I know you have like a few siblings. How did they all take it? You know, like, was it the whole like process? Did you notice how like different people like will react to like the rejection differently? You know,
Yeah.
like could you see that in your family? Or?
Definitely. I think my older brother, he was much more quick to defend and to, I don't know, to feel like he had to be the strong one and the one that like held us together. And now I think later in life, like now he's only just coming to terms with things and actually going through a process at the moment. And yeah, obviously my younger brother, he was really young, so he didn't really know what was going on. He was just oblivious. He was just he was chilling. He was just there.
Chilling.
But yeah, I think different personalities really have that has definitely come into play with how the reactions have been. So
because it's always just so interesting, right? When you see like everyone experiences like the same thing or like the same event, but we all just deal with rejection specifically so like differently and so interestingly, and it causes different like reactions from us. So
that's so true.
Yeah. What was kind of just going back to kind of like the whole processing and that breakthrough moment with the teaching? You know, what was like the main thing, I guess, you not is maybe like learn or have taken away from this? Because like in terms of rejection as well, obviously we know our parents are broken as well. They'll make mistakes that have a big impact on us. But like, you know, did you understand that like, you know, you weren't actually specifically rejected, or you know, what were like your big takeaways almost? If that's
yeah, no,
does that make sense?
Yeah. I think it, like every day has to be a conscious decision to like choose to not walk in rejection, because like you said, like it wasn't me that was rejected personally, so I need to like remind myself of that every day. And like there are days that you just wake up and you're just like, I feel sad. Poor me, you know. So you actually have to like consciously choose like no, I'm not rejected, like and
so what does that look like, you know, for you, you know, when you wake up and say, no, I'm actually not rejected, I feel like I am, but I'm not. So then what are like the super practical things that you do? Like, what do you tell yourself? How do you move? How do you act, you know?
I mean, it definitely comes from dependence on God and like picking up his word, and because you know that is it's the only source of truth, right? So you know, if I'm just gonna give myself a pep talk, it's probably not gonna it's probably not gonna help. So literally it's just dependence on God and his word.
And do you think like obviously because the idea of like he didn't reject you specifically, like that's like understanding that is good, but do you think like, because obviously there are situations where that will happen and they've actually rejected the whole family, so like I know that didn't happen to you specifically, but like are there like, I don't know, it's easy because you can get rejected from people, like that happens, you know? So like, what am I asking? I guess I'm asking like, what's the bigger lesson for you, almost, you know? Like, initially, separate from him not actually rejecting you, like, do you think you've learned anything else from the situation?
Yeah, I think it's definitely been more about like identity and learning who I am and like who God created me to be. And I think that's mostly what this boils down to, is actually knowing who you are and being secure in who you are in him. And like that's the only way that we can walk in his truth and not walk under rejection or rebellion or you know, these things, you know. So
no, that's really good, because I feel like that is genuinely like the case. I mean, because we'll get rejected a lot, you know, that'll keep happening as well. From people who are really close to us to people who don't really mean anything to us, you know. So I feel like that's like an everyday thing, you know, but that's so true.
And it hurts, and like there's no way of stopping the hurt, you know, because that would be weird if we didn't have emotions. But it's a journey like to reconcile these things, and but ultimately we just have to bring them all back to God and be like, we need you.
Something up as well that we talked about a little while ago, but basically you were saying that you're experiencing this rejection, like caused you to be emotionally kind of distant from other people, right? And that how you noticed like that was also something that your dad did, you know, and I think we even talked about his dad, you know, and the way that he processed things. But yeah, I'm just wondering if you want to explain that a little bit more about, you know, the coping mechanism really of what it is, and yeah, just how you saw that, how it goes from generation to generation, and sometimes I think we forget that maybe we're dealing with something because it's a generational thing that we have to break off, you know, like you did. But
Yeah. Yeah. So like you said, like something I noticed, like when like, you know, processing, reflecting, is that, yeah, like my dad, he has pushed people away in his life, that have genuinely tried to care for him and help him. And I don't know, I guess he doesn't know how to receive, love. And, like that's come from, yeah, issues that he's had with his dad. And so, yeah, like I realized that that's something I do as well, is that, yeah, I push people away because I don't like vulnerability. So, you know, I hide behind humor and being mean.
not just humor, folks, it's humor and being
sorry,
mean.
you know, two contradicting things, but it works for me.
Worked, past tense.
Yeah.
You're working
Sorry,
through it.
Yeah.
worked. Sorry. But yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely been something that I have been really trying to work through, and yeah, I think, yeah, only with God we can fix these things, and not fix. I don't know if that's the word, but yeah,
Let go of.
yeah, surrender. There we go.
Surrender. That's the church word we're looking for.
That sounds more Christian.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not been like a natural response, like to be like, I don't know, but I don't think it's been something that I've had to consciously like do. It's just been like a change that has happened, like as I've like given these things to God and like trusted him with them, like I have seen like he's changed me, and like
You see the fruit of it.
exactly. And yeah, and I think now I'm much better at letting people in, at being more vulnerable. I mean, look at me, I'm on the podcast.
That's true.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
and better at receiving and giving love as well. So
Yeah.
that's great. We love it.
We do love it.
Have you noticed any like, there are any like patterns that happen like when you are falling back into that kind of like, you know, when you struggle to receive and things like
The rejection.
Yeah,
when
the
you
rejection,
start walking rejection again. Yeah.
do you like, is it like certain things that trigger that at all, or is it just kind of like, I don't know, is it just a daily like choice?
Yeah, I mean, we all have like insecurities and different things that do like trigger these emotions, and yeah, I guess it's just having to be aware of like what your trigger is, and like then taking it to God and be like, I don't know why I'm having these feelings again, like help me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, of course we're human, it happens. It's not like a once and done thing.
Yeah,
like it is a continual like process, and yeah, I don't know, I just kind of rephrase what you said. So.
Well, no, I mean, just like, it's just to know that like this isn't just like a snap your finger and like you've fixed it. It's
You've had the conversation, now it's good, and you
like it is still a thing, you know, not hopefully not as big of a deal, so to speak, but it's something that you like do need to fight again time to time, you know. I think it's like important to remember that, because it can just be very much like I've conquered this, and then you think that's it, and like it's a daily choice as well. So you're now a worship leader.
That's correct.
Yeah. So it's quite
Can we
cool.
have like the title down at the bottom?
Yeah, we'll mention that. Yeah, when we post. But so is that kind of it's quite a cool story. Like you've gone from not where you are, but just like that whole like rejection stuff, and now you're writing songs, you know, about your father, like God. So like just to clarify that.
Yeah, all the songs we sing at church are not about my father. Yeah.
Have you ever found yourself kind of not between the two, but just kind of like, what are you writing about, and like questioning yourself at all, or is that a good way to phrase it?
Yeah, or like realizing that
Sure.
maybe the perception of your earthly father, your biological father, has kind of seeped in to your perception of God, and then realizing like, wow, I'm writing these lyrics for people to sing to hopefully deepen their relationship with God. Like,
well, I think
it's pressure.
you have to be really aware of like not letting your own emotions come into play. And obviously everything I write I like base on biblical truth, and so that's my like first point of call, I guess. Like when I come to write a song is I go to the Bible and okay, God, what do you want to say to your people? And you know, because I want the least amount of me in there as possible. But I mean, they are still like personal to me and like things, revelations that God has given. But yeah, I think the key in that is like basing them on biblical truth and not allowing my own like experiences and emotions to get like mixed into that. But yeah, you have to be really. You have to use a lot of wisdom, I guess. Yeah. Because like you said, I don't want people declaring things that are not good.
That are from a place of rejection?
Yes, that are coming from a wound. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's funny, too, because you're, like, talking about how it's hard for you to be vulnerable, you know, something you've, like, worked on, yet you're sharing these things, these very personal, like, times with God or whatever, like, here for the masses to sing.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny how God did that, you know?
Yeah.
You're afraid of vulnerability? Well, you're going to write something from your heart, and we're all going to sing it, like...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, that's true. Yeah.
No, it's been fun. I mean, I guess before like the last few years, I knew I liked writing songs, but I never thought of it like as like an offering to God. I guess like it was just kind of a side hobby. And I was like, how do you even write a worship song? I don't know. But now it's apparently the only thing I can write. So, but it's been great, honestly.
Do you ever struggle with rejection when you're like showing like the other worship leaders, like the worship team here, like at Hope and Anchor, like, hey, I wrote a new one. Hope you don't hate it, like.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's rejection though. It's just like fear of like sharing your heart.
Okay.
I guess then it is rejection because then you don't want to be rejected. So, but
you're right. Like that's why like we hold back, isn't it? I feel like that's in a lot of areas. Yeah. You hold back because you don't want to be rejected.
Yeah. I guess I'll sit on things for a little while before I actually share them because I'm like maybe it's not even good.
Really?
And then I share it and then it becomes a song. So then it's like, oh, okay, so it was good. Cool.
Do you find though like you're getting better at like not having like is your sitting on a period like smaller because you've kind of realized like, oh, it's fine, like.
Yeah, and that comes with like learning to trust people, and obviously we've all been working together for a while now, so yeah, I'd say it's an open space.
That's great. So trust, right? Okay.
Okay, where are we going? Okay.
How do you think trust and rejection, like, how do you think they relate to each other, right? Because would you say that in all the like the issues and the things you've worked through with your dad, like trust was broken? And do you think broken trust leads to rejection? I mean, I don't think that they're like have to be one and the same, but are they? I also don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah. I like where you're going with that.
Thank you.
Don't know if I have a response, but
well, I mean, do you trust your dad? Like, I mean, I know that was very straightforward.
Okay.
Well, but like, and if you say no, that's totally fine because I think this is something that's real. Like, I don't think we should. I mean, I know we said like we'd ask these kind of questions, but like we want to know like where people are at as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is.
I don't know if I can honestly 100% say yes because that maybe would be a lie. So yeah, it's still a process, definitely. And I think I was actually like mentioning this to you before this about like how that like relationship with my dad, like he had a tendency to like not keep his promises, and like that did really come into play with my relationship with God because I, for a while and even now, like struggle to believe that he actually does what he says and that he's actually good, you know. And it's still sometimes it's like in the back of your head, you know, that idea of like, okay, but I know you said this, but like, can I actually trust you? Can I actually believe that you're gonna do it? It's real stuff here.
Well, it is real stuff, and I think a lot of people struggle with this, you know, or you know, Christian or non-Christian, but I think especially Christians, and then they almost like we feel bad for like doubting if we trust God, you know.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be really like honest when we look at our lives and be like, well, the world has given us 112 reasons not to
Yeah.
trust, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's
how
so
do we
true.
reconcile that, like with
It's
God?
normal to doubt. Like, I think anyone who says they've never doubted God is lying because
100%.
yeah.
Alright, that was good. You were talking about trust, and I know that was not the
Good.
context we were
And, like,
talking it in,
Well,
but
like, do you feel like you should trust your dad? Like, I feel like that's a different question. Like, obviously, you said no, not completely, but do you feel like you should be? Like, are you
I
trying
mean-
to get to a place where you are, or is it kind of like you're still battling with the idea of like, how can I trust him?
I think, I mean, the only place we can put our trust is in God, right? Obviously, I don't want to like have that view of my dad of like, oh, he's unreliable, he's untrustworthy, because you know we're called to honor our parents, right? And I do forgive him, and I love him, like he's my dad, but I wouldn't say that I put my trust in him because that's not a very safe place to leave your trust. Yeah, I think the only one we can fully trust is God, and he's never going to let us down. So
parent or not a parent,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like we're gonna break trust all the time.
yeah,
But I think it's interesting the correlation between trust and fear of rejection. I think it's more than just rejection. Like as we're kind of processing through this, I'm like, oh, I think it's more of like you fear rejection. If you're not sure you trust someone, you fear rejection, which leads you then to walk in rejection.
right?
right?
Mhm.
Interesting stuff.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the idea of like you're not even rejected yet, but you're still walking in rejection.
Yeah. Because you fear that you will be because you don't fully trust the person. You know?
Wow.
Look
Revelation.
at us go. Look at us
Wow.
go.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That is really good stuff. And I mean, we could talk about this for forever, probably. But I think we have to start wrapping up. I think this is coming to
Oh.
the end of our episode.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say? Anything that you just want to?
Even just for people who are kind of like just walking in that fear, I guess.
Mhm.
Like just things that maybe like things that you were doing that really helped you. Obviously, it's that intimacy with God, but
Yeah, I would say yeah. I mean, find yourself someone that you can trust. Like a mentor. You know, we love a good mentor here. It's key.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, someone that you can be vulnerable with, and like the more that you open up to them, like the easier it gets to be vulnerable with others, and yeah, just continually surrender to God daily.
Yeah.
Um,
like also a quick question. Like do you think God put anyone in your life who has a similar role to a father figure? Like not to replace it, but I just mean like I don't know, maybe to encourage it. Maybe I don't know if that's really
Yeah.
right. Or like just someone. Has he put anyone that you kind of see as like like I see him like a father, not your actual
Yeah,
dad,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just.
I
someone
forgot
like
to mention, I have a stepdad. He's great.
Oh.
Shout out to you as well, Johnny boy. But yeah,
Yes.
no, sorry, my stepdad's a legend. But yeah, like I can definitely see like in different seasons of my life, God has like put like amazing men of God that have been great role models to me, and yeah, shown me what like a father actually looks like, and yeah, it's been such a blessing,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, because I feel like God does do that. You know, not necessarily with like super dramatic, but just in really subtle
Yeah.
ways. You know.
Yeah.
I think He does like put people in your life who you can relate to, like a brother or like a sister or
Yeah.
father or mother, whatever.
Yeah. He knows what we're lacking, which is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. He always fulfills our needs. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But it doesn't mean it replaces.
no.
No.
But yeah,
Amazing.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you did well. That was good.
Yeah, you did so good.
Thank you.
That was good.
Yes, she was a little bit nervous.
I was so nervous, guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you like saw this, but the studio almost broke out into applause. And by that I just mean one person. But that's okay. Well, Martha, thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming
seriously, thank you.
on. Because I think regardless of our relationship with our parents, because this is, we're calling it quote unquote daddy issues, whatever, but also like mother issues are a thing. And I think regardless of who we are or of our relationship with our parents, whether it's you think it's the most amazing thing ever or they're completely absent, like we all have this, and they all come into play with how we view God and with how we view the world. And I
Yeah.
think this is really
Yeah.
key. And I think it should be a normalized conversation
Mhm.
that we have because
For sure.
you know we gotta learn how to see God in the right light. So let's unpack the rest, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Martha.
Yeah. Thank you
again.
so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate that.
It's been great.
Yes. All right, guys. This is as we said at the beginning, the final week of our rejection series.
Yeah.
Yes, and we will be back in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
just literally just a couple weeks. It's not a very dramatic
Like big break.
season end.
Season finale.
Yeah, this was the season finale. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel honoured.
Amazing. But yeah, guys. So make sure you listen to this. Well, obviously listen to this if you've made it to the end of it. But also share it.
Yep.
With people that you think I would say might need this, but you might be calling out some issues in people. So just be careful who you share this with. Do it in the right way. And where can they find us, Zach?
Yes.
Even if we're not making an episode for a week or two.
The Anchor of the Week, obviously on Insta. We're on
That's
Insta.
where it is.
YouTube.
And all the
Podcast
places.
platforms. Yeah.
Yes.
You name it.
We are there.
Yeah. We are there. I was gonna say we're on it, but then it wouldn't have sounded good with us two saying that. Anyway.
It's okay.
Anyway.
Guys, I really hope you enjoy what has just ensued right now. I think we had a very serious conversation for a long time. So here we are.
And we've got the giggles.
Now we've got the giggles.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
But yeah, again, thank you guys as always for listening. Hope that this spoke to you and that God speaks to you through it. And we will see you when we see you.
Yep. God bless.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Anchor of the Week.
Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube so you never miss an episode.
See you next time.